Hello everybody, my name is Nate Templeton, and one day, just like many of you, I was playing Lethal Company. And then I had an idea. What if I removed all the happiness and joy I get out of playing this game? And so I decided to speedrun it, and this is how it went. Dude, get the fuck out of my way! So I see an issue here. This like a super hot thing? You don't move if I don't move? God fucking... Oh, I closed the door! Oh, shit. Fucking... God... Not even that big of a deal, actually. As you can see, it wasn't going too well. I kept dying and kept dying, not having enough money to reach the next quota, but I started getting a hang of it. And if you stick around to the end of the video, you get to see me get the world record in one of the hardest categories in Lethal Company speedrunning. Which category is that, Nate?
Quota 6.
Now, if you played Lethal Company before, it's pretty self-explanatory. You have to get to Quota 6 as fast as possible from a new save file. Now, you might be wondering, how do you get there as fast as possible, Nate? And the answer is pretty simple. You have to go to assurance...
How did you get there as fast as possible, Nate?
I'm sorry. I just did the introduction for... You didn't have to...
No, it's fine.
Okay. A Quota 6 run is split up into two halves, the first half being quotas 1 through 3 and the second half being quotas 4 through 6. The reason why these quotas are separated is because of the price difference between them. You see, each quota is higher than the last. How much the next quota increases depends on what number quota you're on. Unfortunately, how much each quota increases is randomized, so it's a little bit harder to plan how much money you need for the next quota. For example, the Quota 1 and Quota 2 increase can be as low as 60, but can be as high as 160, and the Quota 5 to Quota 6 increase can be as low as 150, but as high as 400. Now, how do we deal with this? How many moons and which moons do we go to reach the money that we need for the quotas? Well, we actually only have to go to 2. These moons being Assurance and Titan. This is where we go back to the run being in 2 halves. For quotas 1 through 3, you go to Assurance, and then for quotas 4 through 6, you go to Titan. Now let's get into why specifically we do these 2 maps. Now let's start off with Assurance being the second to none best map in Lethal Company for speedrunning, which is mainly due because of its quick and easy entrance to the facility. As you can see, if you jump onto this rock, then you jump onto the pipe, then you run over, and then you jump onto the fire exit, you can get into the facility at around 12 to 14 seconds. And this isn't to mention all the great item drops that you get on such an easy map. As you can see, this is the first room I got into in the facility, and I got 2 clown horns and a big bolt. The only real issue you'll run into in Assurance is getting back to the ship. As you can see, there's mud in the way that I usually go, and because of Assurance's rocky terrain, I have to go all the way around this massive rock, only to have a second obstacle be this beehive in the way, making me go around this second rock to finally get back to the ship. Now you might be thinking, Nate, that was just a rainy Assurance. What would you do in an eclipsed Assurance? Would you lose in eclipsed Assurance? Nah, I'd win. Eclipsed? For some reason I saw that coming. Why not? I literally have to go in. Now with that instant entrance to the facility with the fire exit, there's no problem getting in. And an eclipse only affects what happens outside the facility, so the experience inside the facility doesn't really change. This trip was pretty good. I got a jar of pickles, a tragedy mask, and a cookie mold pan. With those 3 items alone, I already made $75, but on my way back to the fire exit, I saw something even more expensive. That's right, a whole ass cash register, probably pricing around 164. I don't know, it's kind of muffled there, but since the weight is probably around 90, making me weigh 124 or something like that, I didn't take it. Well, hell no. No. Absolutely not. This is where an Eclipse Assurance gets a little dicey. I hop on the pipe and then go down a little bit until I can take a straight shot to the ship. After that, I pray that there's no worms, since those are the hardest to deal with in Assurance, and I look left to right to all pathways to make sure there's no eyeless dogs around. Now I'm not going to even talk about baboon hawks, since they're pretty easy to deal with. After you get close enough to the ship, you don't really have to worry about worms anymore. You just have to keep looking around for eyeless dogs, making sure you're not stupid, and they rage at you and kill you. And there you go, that's how you deal with an eclipsed assurance. And that's kind of it for quotas 1 through 3. You just go to assurance 9 times, you get enough money for the quotas, and there you go. And sometimes if you have enough money, you can go a day early when the company's selling at 77%, but it's not that big of a deal. I usually just sell on the last day and have some extra money for the next quotas. Now, it's
Titan time.
Now don't worry, you're not losing your vision. This map is dark as hell, and there really isn't anything special about it on the outside of the facility. But the one really good thing about this map, and the reason why it's in the run, is because of its quick and easy entrance to the facility, just like Assurance's. Yes, it's definitely not as fast as Assurance's entrance, but it's really simple. You just gotta go up these few flights of stairs, and then up this ladder, and then the main entrance is to your right, and the fire exit's to your left. But if you look at this list of the moons in the terminal, you can see a big difference between Assurance's and Titan's placement. And this isn't because of random chance. You see, each moon in Lethal Company has a hazard level, and the farther down the list you go, the more dangerous it gets. And through my great use of color in the text, you can see that Titan's by far the most dangerous moon out there. Now what does this entail exactly about Titan? You gotta be fucking with me, bro. That's right, it's not even 9 AM and there's already a coil head right next to the main entrance. This is just one of multiple instances of Titan's crazy monster spawn rates. But it's not always like this. You can do an entire Titan run and not see a monster at all. It really just depends on how long you're there. The more time you spend on a Titan, the more monsters are going to spawn. So not only do you want to get in and out as fast as possible for the speed run, you should just generally get out of there as fast as possible so you don't die. Now why would such a dangerous moon be in the run? Well, not only does Titan have an ungodly amount of monsters, it also has an ungodly amount of scrap, an amount that other moons just don't have. For example, look at a performance report from Assurance. In these reports, it shows who lived and who died, but it also shows the amount of money you made over how much money was available on the moon. This is a pretty good assurance, having $612. Now let's look at a performance report from Titan. Whoa. That's a little bit more than 612. It's kind of like a low risk, low reward, high risk, high reward situation. Not only does Titan have an insane amount of scrap, it also has a goated strategy to get it all back to the ship. With Titan's vertical exterior just being a staircase going up to the main entrance, you can just drop full inventories down these stairs. And once everything from outside the main entrance is dropped down the stairs, you can start going down yourself and throwing things down to the ground. And once you're at this part of the process, you're going to want to listen closely for eyeless dogs and forest giants. And once everything is down there, you can start making trips in and out of the ship to get ready to go. As you can see, this process takes a pretty long time. You have to keep coming back and forth getting multiple inventories worth of items, and you also have to take into account the scrap you want to sell and the scrap you want to keep. And that's basically all you have to know about Titan. When is this guy gonna shut up about the run and just do it already? Glad you asked, because now it's time for me to go over my first run. Wait, what the hell is this? What happened to my webcam? Why is there a keyboard and mouse input shit here? What the hell? Before I used a desktop to stream, I had to use a gaming laptop to record on OBS, so that's why the recording's kind of dog shit, and I don't have a webcam. This was the only run I ever recorded on that laptop, so don't worry, all the runs after this are gonna look a lot better. After the second day, I had more than enough money to go a day early to the company building and sell at 77%. Going to the company building a day early saves you around 2 minutes, so I got to quota 1 at 5 minutes and 40 seconds. After getting that pretty good time on quota 1, it was my second day in quota 2 and I got my first eclipse of the run. But at the time I didn't know how to deal with an eclipsed assurance, so I just skipped the day and hoped that the next day I had enough scrap for me to reach the quota. Luckily this trip was pretty good and I got enough money to reach quota 2. With that I finished quota 2 in 12 minutes and 48 seconds. 2 days into quota 3 and things were going pretty well. I already had a decent amount of money on the ship, and this trip I got bottles and a tea kettle. And then this happened. Now it's time to play a little game I like to call, What the was going through Nate's mind? Oh shit, a snare flake. I gotta get the hell out of here. Oh wait, but my tea kettle's right there. I'm gonna just drop my bottles right here. Oh, I don't see it anywhere. It must be lost or something. Let me just grab this thing right here. Oh shit, it's right there. Calm down. Just find the fire exit. Just find the fire exit. Find the fire exit. Find the... Oh, it's right there. So after that near-death experience, I went back in there, got my stuff, and left. Now it's time for my last trip to Assurance for the rest of the run. After a normal entrance to the facility, I was feeling pretty good. I didn't really even need that much money for quota 3, so I thought this was going to be an in-and-out, pretty easy trip. All I had to do was just find a couple of items. That's all I needed. That's all I wanted. They could have been as heavy as they wanted to. I wouldn't care, as long as they would reach me to third quota. But what did this assurance have planned for me? A locked apparatus room. And in this moment I had a realization. I left a key back at the ship. So what do? I go back to the ship, grab the key, go all the way back to the fire exit, unlock the door, get my cookie mold pan and my apparatus, go all the way back to the ship just to scan and figure out that I was $1 away from the quota. So, what was I left to do but to go back to the facility through the main entrance, thankfully find an egg beater right next to the door, and on my way back to the ship for the 3rd time, see that I've been there so long that a fucking eyeless dog spawned. After the slowest assurance trip I've ever seen in a speedrun, I passed quota 3 in 27 minutes and 3 seconds. Which meant that just reaching quota 3 took longer than reaching quotas 1 and 2 combined. After that I was pretty scared because this was one of my first runs ever making it to Titan, but it went surprisingly very well. In quota 4 I saw a snare flea, luckily didn't trigger it, and then in quota 5 as I was leaving a ghost girl showed up. But besides those 2 encounters, really nothing happened. I finished the run in 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 57 seconds. Nice, my first successful run. Let's see what everybody else is getting. I gotta redo this bitch. And I did. I bought a new computer and I was ready to go. Since I was on a different computer, my splits didn't carry over to my timer, and I didn't really care because I knew any run would have been faster than my first run. Just like the last run, I sold a day early in quota 1, getting a time of 5 minutes and 42 seconds. Fortunately, after that, I got absolute bank on the quota 2 days, so I was able to go a day early again, getting me a time of 11 minutes and 30 seconds for quota 2. Next up was the infamous 3rd quota, and it didn't really start off well with an eclipse being my first day. Since the quota was pretty high and I didn't have any extra money from past quotas, I thought, screw it, I'll go in. Luckily I did, because I got a pretty good haul inside the facility, getting a tea kettle, air horn, and a remote. But unfortunately, there was an eyeless dog waiting right outside under the pipe for me. But it wasn't that big of a deal. I just crouched, waited for him to walk away, and went back to the ship. After getting that fantastic haul from that last assurance, I had some pretty high hopes for this one. Don't be locked. But I forgot that this world doesn't allow me to experience joy, so of course this fire exit was completely locked in and I had to go to the main entrance. As slow as it was going to the main entrance, I'm very glad that I did it because I made absolute bank getting bottles, a plastic fish, a hairdryer, and a Rubik's Cube. Even with all that, it still wasn't enough to reach the quota, so I was forced to go in a 3rd time, and luckily I got a stop sign and a V-type engine pretty quickly. And with that, I got a time of 20 minutes and 44 seconds for 3rd quota. Now it was Titan time, and I was feeling pretty good because last Titan time I had, I barely got any monsters at all. But it wasn't the monsters I had to worry about. Wait a minute, I got a manor in Titan? I thought Titan was supposed to be like a facility-only map. You see, this run was done during the Christmas update, and along with features like the larger selection of items and the Nutcracker, it also increased the chances of getting a manor in Titan. Manors are big time wasters in speedrunning because of their massive size difference compared to facilities. And because of that, its item distribution is terrible. You'd have to be really lucky to find a room with 3 items. And even if you do, you have to dig pretty deep into the manor to find a room remotely like that. And if you've ever played in a manor, you know how easy it is to get lost in it. Whenever you get a manor in speedrunning, you should just leave. But if you want some extra money, you should stay there for at most a minute. But I didn't know this at the time, so I just treated it as a facility and just kept going in. On my second trip back in, I got a Rubik's Cube, and that's about it, and I was about to dig deeper until this bracken scared the shit out of me. Oh, hey man. Hey man, I was just leaving actually. I was just heading out. And after that slow-ass manor trip, I reached quota 4 in 32 minutes and 4 seconds. After that, it was pretty much a walk in the park, and I finished up this run in 59 minutes and 12 seconds. Even with that run being 5 minutes faster than my last one, I was still last place, and not to mention I was 12 minutes slower than second last place. So it was obvious that I was missing something, but at the time I didn't really care, so I just kept doing what I was doing. And soon enough, I beat my PB again by 5 minutes. And in the middle of that run, I even died, so I knew there was some time that I could save to catch up to everybody else. Oh. Things were looking pretty good. I kept getting my PB faster, and I was closing in on other people's times. Until... hold on. Things weren't looking so good. Fucking coilhead, god damn it. Oh. Oh my... Take me. see that number right there? That's the amount of attempts that you've done on a speedrun. This is the amount of attempts it took me to get my last PB, and this is the amount of attempts I have now. My ass more than doubled the amount of attempts, and I made absolutely no progress on my time. And on top of that, my timer was fucking with me and gave me a worse time for my PB. I don't know why it did this. I've never seen it happen before. I was not having a fun time. After a week of trying to beat that 54-minute run, I just failed. I couldn't even get a full run in. I just kept dying and not having enough money to reach the next quota, so I gave up. This just in from the Lofi Company Speedrun Hub. Speedrun.com leaderboard changes. Glitched and glitchless boards have been added. Oh, okay. Wait a minute, I don't do any glitches in my runs, and everybody else does. You know what that means?
World record, baby!
We win these, we get there.
Number one, nobody better. Shit, how's it feel to get the world record? I mean, it was hard to get here, man. It was hard to get here, but you know. Oh. So I don't have the world record anymore. But I held it for like a week until Narek beat my time, and then Narek beat his time, and then Nitsboy took it. Now Noglin or Noglin holds the current record of 45 minutes and 43 seconds, which if it isn't obvious, destroys my time of 54 minutes and 9 seconds. And that's how I held the world record for the Quota 6 solo glitchless category. I wonder what other categories they added. Oh, looks like they didn't add much. Wait. Quota 10? The fuck you mean Quota 10? I can barely do a Quota 6 run on my own. I'm probably gonna need another person. I don't know anybody that would be willing to speedrun Lethal Company with me. Like seriously, I do solo runs only. I don't play Lethal Company with anybody at all. Like I don't have any online friends. I think I just have to stick to Quota 6 runs. I don't think I can do this. Isaac. Wanna speedrun Lethal Company?
Sure. What are we talking about?
Like 10 quotas.
10 quotas?
Hey there! If you made it this far in the video, I hope you enjoyed watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit the like button for me and comment what you liked about it. And if you like me, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my other future videos. If you're interested in speedrunning Lethal Company yourself, go ahead and join the Lethal Company Speedrun Hub Discord server. And I'd like to thank Hephestos for most of the tracks that I played in the background of this video. His music is absolutely amazing, and I strongly encourage you guys to go over and show some love to his channel. And that's all from me. See you guys next time. Bye.